What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm giving 5 tips to help with your illustration game, specifically speaking about alcohol-based markers. I love these markers because they feel professional. Even though you can find cheap, affordable ones, they feel like they are very professional in the color and the vibrancy. Oh! I love them so much. As you can tell in my previous videos, this is my main way to illustrate, and I ain't going back. So I put together 5 tips for anyone who just picks some up or is looking to pick some up and don't really know how to use them. They definitely work different than your traditional water-based marker or a Sharpie, so that's why I made this video. Before we go into the video though, I want to make sure that it's clear that art is very subjective. Don't compare yourself to other artists. You are your own artist, and art in general is subjective. Some people make art with Legos, with the coffee. Have fun with the process. Because if you're not having fun, what is the point? What is the point of doing anything? The only person that you have to worry about liking your art is yourself. When you recognize that and you understand that it's a day-to-day process and that you have to water the seed to get that baby to grow, you are a great artist. So just remember that. But other than that, here's a really sick speed drawing that I did using alcohol-based markers. I am gonna give 5 pieces of advice when it comes to using this particular niche of illustrating. I hope you enjoy. What is up? So this is the beginning. This is the sketch before the outline. This is what always happens. I just get a general idea of what I want to do, kind of sketch something out, and then I go in with the outline. Alright, so my first tip is going to be to practice your coloring and blending using coloring books or printouts. This way you don't necessarily have to focus on the line work or the structure of the illustration. You can focus on the blending techniques and tricks and have fun instead. This helped me a lot at the beginning and I strongly recommend it. So the general idea for this is just understand that since dark tones can't be covered with light tones, when you're using markers, you'll need to lay down your light colors first. But practice this on coloring books or printouts so you can help yourself in the long run. Tip number 2, use the right paper. This is important but not the end of the world. If you have regular printer paper, this works surprisingly well, but I will say that if you have the correct paper, it makes it a lot easier to get those smooth transitions, as that's what the mixed media paper and notebooks are for. But you can use traditional paper. It's just that the main difference is that the fibers in normal paper versus cardstock paper are much thicker and soaks up the ink. So it still allows blending, but the cardstock paper allows for the color to stay on the surface. Tip number 3, swatch your colors. Swatch your colors before you start a project. This way you understand exactly what color is about to show up in an area. Seeing the color on paper dried is a much more accurate depiction versus trying to guess based off the color on the cap. In my experience, it's pretty rare that the cap color fully represents the color in the nib, so I spent about 15 minutes swatching different colors to see which color will blend correctly and resemble the shade I'm trying to depict. Alright, so tip number 4 is to keep a swatch sheet next to you. So I say this because you always want to make sure that your color is clean and on point when it comes out of the nib. Sometimes when you're working around black or even a different color, it soaks back up into the nib, so you can get black on an area and it looks really bad. It's happened to me a bunch of times, so I just recommend taking your time and swatching the color you want to use on a scratch paper before you start to color a certain area to make sure that the color is nice and crispy. Tip number 5 is just going to be to take your time, and I know that seems obvious, but you'd be surprised how when you get going and excited about a process, how much you can miss little details and make small errors. And with art, I feel like it's the small details that make your illustration stand out. So nothing is more frustrating when you're halfway through a process and you make a small little error because you were going too quick, you were coloring too fast. So just keep that in mind and it will pay off in the long run. And we're back. Welcome back. Thanks for watching that, guys. I really appreciate it. I always love when I get inspired by something Disney, because Disney's the shit. But there it is in the portfolio, the last step of the process. Just remember, guys, that your art is your art. So think of yourself as an artistic snowflake, unique and different from everybody else. But remember not to be hard on yourself, and that illustrating and art is a process. So it's more important to have fun with it than to be burdened by it. Thank you for watching. Until next time, see ya.